Welcome everyone. Welcome to my channel TG Study. I am Tanmoy Ghosh. Today we will continue the topic Design of Steel Structure. It is lecture 3 of Design of Steel Structure. In today's video we will learn briefly about the different design methods of design of steel structure. In our previous videos, in lecture 1 is about the introduction of steel structure and lecture 2 is about the types of loads. If you are not watched those videos, please click the I button or go to my description box. I will give the link of these videos. So let's start today's topic.
Hi everyone, today's topic is different methods of design of steel structure. Before entering today's topic, we have to know the clear concept about stress-strain curve. Here, the x-axis denoted as strain and y-axis denoted as stress. In this graph, Y region is called limit of proportionality, where the stress and strain is linear, and in this region, it is obey the Hooke's law. Next, A to B point is called elastic zone. It means in this AB zone, when we apply certain load or pressure, it is deformed, and then we release the pressure, it comes to its original shape. And up to B point is called elastic limit. Next, the point C is yield point. Here we can see 2 points. First, C dash point is called as upper yield point and C is called as lower yield point. These conditions are totally depends upon the rate of loading. Next, CD zone is called as plastic zone. It means without any increase of the stress, the strain is increased. So next region is called strain hardening, that is DE region. What is strain hardening? Strain hardening means it resists deformation and needs more load to deform. So in this zone, with the increase of stress, the strain is also increased up to the highest point E. And here the point E is taken as ultimate stress and it is denoted as Fu. So while designing the steel structure, we all are taken ultimate stress, that is Fu. And at last point is F. It is called as breaking stress or breaking point. So this stress-strain curve is most important things to understand the design. So now I think it is clear to you. So let's see the design methodologist. The method of design is classified as 3 types. First one is working stress method, WSM. Second is ultimate strain method or USM. And third is limit state method, that is LSM. And further, LSM is divided into 2 types, limit state of strain and limit state of serviceability. At first, working stress method or WSM. Here I gather some important points of WSM. First point, safety is ensured by limiting the stress of the materials. Second, the material is assumed to behave in linear, elastic manner, and in this approach, the stress-strain behavior is considered to be linear. In WSM, permissible stress is always less than yield stress by factor of safety, and this concept is detailed in IS 800 1984. Next, ultimate strain method or USM. It is also referred to plastic design method. Next point, in this case the limit state is attained when the members reach plastic moment strain, that is MP, and the structure is attained into a mechanism. Next, the safety measure of the structure is taken care of by an appropriate choice of load factor. It is multiplied to the working load and it is checked with respect to the ultimate load corresponding to the member. In this method, USM, the ultimate load is always greater than the summation of working load and load factor. Next, limit state method, LSM. In limit state design method, the structure is designed in such a way that it can safely withstand all kinds of loads that may act on the structure under consideration in its entire design life. In this method, the science of reliability based design was developed with the objective of providing a rational solution to the problem of adequate safety. Uncertainty is reflected in loading and material strength. At the last of my presentation, I will show the difference between LSM and WSM in an example where the basic concept will be clear to you. So please watch the full video up to the end portion. So next, limit state of strain. The factor governing ultimate strain may be classified as three types: stability, fatigue and plastic collapse. And stability is further classified as stability against overturning and sway stability. These are associated with failure under the action of probable and most unfavorable combination of loads on the structure using the appropriate safety factor, which may lead to loss of life and property. In IS 800-2007, limit state of strain includes loss of equilibrium of structure as a whole or any of its parts. Next, loss of stability of the structure. Next, failure by excessive deformation or formation of mechanism or rupture of the structure or buckling. And last, fracture due to fatigue. Next, stability against overturning. The structure or any of its parts must not overturn, slide or lift, and should be proportioned and designed under factor loads as given below. First point, the actions should be divided into components adding instability and components resting instability. Second point, the actions and their effects causing instability should be combined using appropriate partial safety factors for loads as per the limit state requirements. Third, the permanent loads and effects providing resistance should be multiplied with a factor of 0.9 and added together with design resistance. And last point, the resistance should be greater than or equal to the destabilizing effect. Next, stability against sway. The whole structure including portions between expansion joints should be adequately stiff against sway. To ensure this, in addition to designing for applied horizontal loads, a separate check should be carried out for notational horizontal loads. What is notational horizontal loads? The lateral loads based on the vertical loads acting at that point. These lateral forces are intended to ensure that the structure has sufficient internal resistance to lateral loads and imperfections to keep it safe. The notation horizontal forces may arise from practical imperfections and may be considered as 1% of factor dead load from that level applied horizontally and 0.5% of factor total gravity load, that is dead load and vertical imposed load from that level applied horizontally. Next, fatigue. Fatigue takes place when a member or connection is subjected to repeated or alternating stress and or its variation even if these are small. Next point, for ordinary building structures, fatigue is unlikely to be a problem. However, it is significant for members or structures subjected to fluctuating loads, for example bridges, crane girders, or where there is a high risk of wind included oscillations. Limit state of serviceability may be classified as four types. deflection limit, vibration limit, corrosion and durability, and fire resistance. The serviceability limit states includes the following. First, excessive deflections or deformations of the structure, excessive vibration of the structure causing discomfort to the living persons, repairable damage or crack generated due to fatigue, and corrosion and durability. First point, deflection. Deflection is the main serviceability limit state that must be considered in design. Second point, deflections affected the strength and stability of the structure are controlled by the rules for the ultimate stress. Third point, deflections are calculated by elastic analysis for the most adverse but realistic combinations of service loads and their arrangement using a partial safety factor for load of 1. Here we can see a table. The table is table 6 of IS 800-2007, where we can get the deflection limits of different members. Like for purlin, the maximum deflection is span by 150 when the supporting condition is elastic cladding, and when the supporting condition is brittle cladding, the maximum deflection is span by 180. Next point, vibration. Properly designed and detailed steel members may perform satisfactorily, but floor vibrations may still occur. With the development of lighter structures, there is higher risk of vibration becoming critical in a number of situations. This is perhaps the most common serviceability problem, especially where long span and large open floors without partition are used. In general, most building frames will not be unduly sensitive to vibration in normal use. However, particular care must be exercised when vibrating loads are applied to the structure. Third point, corrosion and durability. In exposed situations, steelwork is severely affected by corrosion. Aggressive environments such as smoke, seawater, acid, or alkaline vapors accelerate this process. The result is loss of surface and durability. Structural steelwork therefore needs to be properly protected. The most common forms of protective treatment are covering the exposed steelwork, either with paint or with a metallic coating, or possibly sheeting with a plastic coat. Fourth point, fire resistance. Steel is an incombustible material. Its strain may reduce substantially by the action of high temperatures. Fire resistance of a steel member is a function of its mass, geometry, and the action to which it is subjected, structural support condition, fire protection measures adopted, and the fire to which it is exposed. Therefore, in steel buildings, the steel members will be provided with some form of fire protection. Next, actions. The actions to be considered in design include direct actions experienced by structure due to self-weight, external actions, etc., and imposed deformations such that due to temperature and settlements. Classification of actions. These are mainly three types. First one, permanent action. Actions due to self-weight of the structural and non-structural components, fittings, and fixed equipments, etc. Next, variable actions. What is variable actions? Actions due to construction and service stage loads such as imposed load, wind loads, and earthquake loads, etc. Accidental actions. These actions expected due to explosions and impact of vehicles. In our previous video of this topic, lecture 2 of design of steel structure, I have already discussed different type of loads. If you are not watched those videos, please click the I button or go to my description box. Link is given. Design actions. Here we can see a formula QD is equal to gamma Fk into QCk. where QD is design load and QC is termed as characteristic loads, where gamma FK is partial safety factor for kth load. From table 4 of IS 800/2007, we can get the gamma F value, means the partial safety factor for loads. Here we can see the limit state of strain, the summation of dead load and live load. The partial safety factor is 1.5. The summation of dead load, live load and earthquake load or wind load, the partial safety factor is 1.2, and the summation of dead load and wind load, the partial safety factor is 1.5. And for limit state of serviceability, the partial safety factor is 1 for the summation of dead load and live load. Here we can see a formula, HD is equal to SU by gamma M, where HD means design strain of the material and SU means ultimate strain of the material, and gamma M is equal to partial safety factor for material. And this formula is from clause number 5.4.1 of IS 800/2007. Here we can see a table, that is table 5 of IS 800/2007, where we can get the partial safety factor for material gamma M. So next, what is basic difference of LSM and WSM? I will give an example and you can try to understand. So A and B are two people, both are work at XYZ company, and both A and B can take the load 100 kg, means their efficiency is 100%. The XYZ company is given a same work to A and B. The work is to carry a certain load. Here the person A carry a load 50 kg instead of 100 kg, and the other person B carry a load 90 kg instead of 100 kg. So my example is now completed. The moral of the story is both are safe in loading, but the person B can complete and taking load faster than A. Now a question come to your mind that what is the relation between my example to the LSM and WSM? Now we can say that the XYZ company is the method of design and A is for WSM and B is for LSM. So the basic difference is for WSM the factor of safety is taken higher than the LSM. So nowadays for this reason limit state method or LSM is used for design purpose. So that's all for today's lecture. I will be right back very soon with some new topic.
If you like this video, please like my video, and if you are a new viewer, so please subscribe my channel CG Study. And also if you think that this video was very helpful to you, so please share this video with your friends.